try.
I might have been like 2 milliseconds off. I hit play.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
we gotta start all over again.
You're
fine.
totally
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
We're good. We're good. Welcome in, everybody. Let's see here. How's everybody's week been? Everybody been well?
Up with Sammy.
Good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Well, I mean, sort of good. I have lupus. I've been dealing with a lupus flare, but it's getting better, so it's good.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
Things are
I'm
good
glad it's
today.
getting better. I'm glad that it's getting better.
Yeah.
Sorry that it's
Kind
been
of a-
shitty in the past.
Kind of a downer to
Yeah.
start with.
You know what? So it goes. That reminds me of nothing. I have nothing to say there. I'm so sorry.
Happens all the time to me, so I get that.
I'm just
Head
gonna,
empty.
I'm gonna stare off into the middle distance, just like this. We're just
I could
gonna-
join you.
Yeah, you want to do that too? Okay. What about Nem? Your picture
Yeah.
already looks like you're staring off into the middle
Yeah,
distance.
just a little.
Oh, fantastic.
like-
I'm like right there with you guys.
Am I going the right way? I think it's this way.
Okay, should I go?
Oh, maybe that
yeah,
way.
this way. It's definitely this way.
Okay.
All right. All right. So just stare off into the middle distance. Just.
I feel like I don't look depressed enough.
I've got a hat here. Hold on. Let me see if I got. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if this adds.
I see it.
Do I look like one of those paintings? Very,
kind of painting.
very
Yeah.
gorillas like.
Oh my
I could see it. I could see it.
Well, welcome everybody
Totally.
to episode 309 of the Planet Destiny podcast. I'm your host, recently relaxed Dan Finity, and with me, I have on the panel, constant favorite of the crew, Nem Plays.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. It's been a long week, but managed to get a couple days off work, and now I'm just kind of chilling.
Perfect. Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have with us a very special guest, SamiKat, in the
Hi,
hot
guys.
seat this evening. How are you this evening?
Hello. Good.
Good.
Really get nervous.
There's
Hi,
no need to be. There is no need to be. You are completely fine and welcome and open here. Great to have you here. Why don't you, some of our audience may not know who you are, so why don't you introduce yourself and what you do in the Destiny community to them?
Awesome. Yeah. Hi, guys. I am SamiKat. I normally go by Sammy, but, call me Kat if you want. Yeah, I am a streamer, Destiny streamer, and content creator, hoping to branch off into the other platforms soon here. But I am mostly known throughout the Destiny community as the bow girl. Yeah, I'm the bow queen to some, and then hey, that bow girl to others. But I like to do a lot of endgame PvE content, solo, but with all bows. Absolutely love bows. I even have my t-shirt, my bow t-shirt on. See, it says anything but subtle, because
Heck.
I'm anything but subtle.
That's incredible. So Nem has yelled at me famously for using bows in in-game content. So this is kind of
Bro,
perfect that you're here.
I'm the minority here in more than one way. I was literally about to tell you that. I'm like, okay, so we got two bow. I still have that clip from
Years
Gambit,
ago.
Dan, and oh my god, bro, it tears every time. So
every
good.
time.
So
Well,
what happened?
yeah. So I have on the screen.
Did I ask?
Okay. There was I like using bows as well, Sammy, and
Okay.
I might have
So you're sane.
Yeah, I might have been playing
Okay.
Gambit, which would have put me on the opposite end of that spectrum, with Nem, and I was using a bow, and he was disappointed in me at the time. And
Why?
yeah, I don't know why. Why was that, Nem?
I just had personal vendetta against bows. And this
So it's
man,
a pride thing?
It's a pride thing.
you know, we were like
I'm
on a losing
offended.
streak. We were like on a losing streak. This man's over here rocking a bow, and during like the primeval phase, and I think he was like, I gotta do something different, and I'm like, yeah, you know, not use a bow, and we lost it. It
And I'll
was
use a
I gotta
bow
find
every
that.
time. I'll use a
It's
bow
on my
every time.
TikTok. I got.
Yeah,
if
you
I-
have to
if I
use a bow
can,
every time.
Yeah. Well, here's
I'll
the
link
thing,
it in
though.
chat.
It's
Here-
malfeasance, subtle calamity, and then whatever else you want to throw on.
Yeah.
All right, the
Because you're using malfeasance.
The malfeasance I respect. I love the hell out of that gun.
I hate hand cannons, so I don't really consider it a hand cannon
Yeah.
because I love
Valid.
it so much. It's
Yeah.
just like
It's a bow and all. It's an honorary bow.
sort of.
Sort
Okay,
of.
all right, Dan, calm down.
Well, so I didn't bring you here to settle an argument between myself and Nim. I brought you here because
Well, you'd win,
I mean,
but okay.
yeah.
Anyway,
But
moving on.
I brought you here because like you're a phenomenal player. You've
Thank you.
done this. You've gone solo. This clip that we're watching right now, you went solo, flawless, HUDless, all bows.
Yep.
What, like, this isn't the first time that you've done this necessarily for hard activities. What inspired you? What about bows gets you going?
Well, this isn't the first one.
Mm-hmm.
First challenge. That was the first clear,
Mhm.
full clear of
Right,
duality.
right.
I've done every dungeon, solo, flawless, all bow, no HUD, with exception of pit.
Mm-hmm. Is there a
So,
reason for that?
I just always hated pit.
Okay.
I just always hated it. It's not that I don't have respect for it. It's just Shadowkeep really wasn't my thing. It wasn't my
Mhm.
aesthetic. I didn't think it had as much to offer that year. I think the fear of missing out aspect of it just kind of ruined all the content for me that year. So I never really got into pit.
Mhm.
But I am going back. I ended up meeting a goal in a charity stream earlier this year,
Hell yeah.
a charity block, and had to solo pit. And it was specifically, the milestone was solo Pit of Heresy, even if it means I can't use all bows.
Okay.
So I went and actually tried,
Mm-hmm.
and I got through with all bows. Solo, I just haven't gotten through solo flawless, and I had my HUD on.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to go back and do that.
Hell
But
yeah.
yeah.
Jokes, like bow jokes aside, like that's actually like that's like hella impressive. I can barely get through
Thank
duality
you.
with like basic ass weapons that are common. Like something is always killing me. So to go through that with like nothing but bows, that's amazing.
Thank you. I think it's harder to do it with other weapons. Honestly, my strategies would not work if I had something like an auto rifle
Yeah.
or,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
understandable.
maybe a scout rifle. I mean, no, I don't think that what I do, I could do with another weapon because of specifically where I stand, what I need to do at what time. I'm like, you stand over on this side of the room during the Galron encounter. You have to stand at this side of the room right here so that you can draw the bow and go around the corner and do this and do that. And people are like, I have an SMG. I can't hit the bell. I'm like, oh yeah, wait a second.
Standing over there, I got a rock. So like,
I've got a rock. Yeah,
what are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing?
I've got a rocket. Yeah, maybe.
But yeah.
I have a
So,
teammate.
so what got you into Destiny 2 as a whole? Like, what had you been into like Bungie games prior? Had you been into like Halo prior or?
So I was in the beta for
Mhm.
Destiny 1, regular Destiny, before there was a number.
Mm-hmm.
I did the beta. I worked at Activision QA in Minneapolis,
Sick.
Minnesota at the time. And Bungie, was partnered with Activision. Activision was publishing. And so we were able to test. We were able to help them. I mean, not really test the game, but we were able to be in more of those sort of public sphere, not quite public sphere. So I ended up doing that and really enjoyed the game. At first, I really liked Halo. I hadn't played through all the campaigns, loved Halo multiplayer. And at first, when it was announced that, Bungie was moving on from Halo, they weren't going to do it anymore, I was just so upset. And then I heard that they were going to make this game called Destiny. And I'm just like, that is the dumbest name for a game. Like, that's such a dumb name.
Vague. Destiny.
Yeah, just Destiny. Yeah. Like, what? And I was like, I don't know if I really want to continue on with this game. And then I saw the Moon trailer, the very first gameplay trailer, and fell in love with it. I knew I had to be part of this universe. I had to do everything in this game right away. And yeah, so I ended up falling in love with the game before it came out. Once it launched, I ended up playing just nonstop for that first year. I ended up taking a break from the game due to some personal issues with Activision, a little bit of trauma, repressed memories I'm working through, but ended up going on to Destiny 2, and I love it. It is just, it's part of my life. It's not just a game, it is part of my life. But it's fun because right now I'm also going through and replaying Destiny 1 because there's a lot that I repressed personally, and all of my Destiny 1 memories just kind of fell into that. So I'm playing through it off stream right now, and I am having a blast. It is so much fun. I'm on to Rise of Iron. I don't remember whether or not I played it.
Oh, man.
But it's something else. I am having so much fun with it.
Make sure you climb that mountain.
There are puppies there.
I know.
I mean, that like social space is gorgeous. It makes me think of Skyrim. There's so many puppies. I mean, they're kind of like angry sometimes, but and there's bells. You can ring bells.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is so amazing.
The things that it doesn't have: mantle and bows.
Mantle.
But that's really,
gosh.
That's really good that you're able to go back and enjoy that product, because it genuinely does have like a lot of really, really great moments.
Yeah, with exception of the lack of bows and lack of mantling.
Yeah.
I feel like with Destiny, we're kind of at a standstill in some ways with D2.
Yeah.
I don't think we should go back necessarily and recycle content, but I think that Bungie should take a look at what was successful in Destiny 1 and see how they can adapt that into Destiny 2, because there's a lot there that I wish that we had. A lot there. I'm going back, I'm like, why did they get rid of this?
I'm curious, like what are a couple things that you can mention off the top of your head? Patrol
areas. I think especially the Dreadnought. There is always something to do there. And granted, I haven't spent hours upon hours upon hours going through and getting sick of it yet. Yeah. But like Court of Oryx, we just got into that recently. And it's kind of this mix between what Blindwell and I was going to say Blindwell and EP, but some of you probably don't know what Escalation Protocol is. But it, kind of this mix. And you can go in there, you can choose whether or not you want to participate in that specifically. It doesn't feel like you have to get roped in. Just the space is incredible. There's always different types of patrols to do. And the density of enemies. I don't know if there's a space specifically in D2 that has that many enemies that spawn that quickly, that many like wars between them. I mean, it's just, there's so much you can do. And I got a few of these random bounties that would just drop from the Dreadnought. I mean, I wasn't doing anything, just I would maybe get a kill and a bounty would drop. And then I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to go do this because it's something to do. I mean, it kept giving me something to do rather than me having to go and find something to do.
Yeah. So that's, I kind of want to circle back to like you doing QA, not necessarily like for Activision or anything, but like, so it seems like you don't get a job like that unless you're really into doing difficult content. What other games have you like, did you find a passion for that in another game, or what's
well, it's not at all as glamorous.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all like a fairy tale like some people think it is.
Yeah.
It was a really, really bad part of my life. But
yeah, I don't want to get into your traumas here. Like I do
no,
wanna,
I know.
like,
but getting
it seems
into
like you have a passion for challenging content.
It is. But I didn't really get to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to do QA on Destiny. I did QA on Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a senior QA tester. So I was kind of a little bit of a liaison between the QA testers, which do just a bunch of different tasks.
Mm-hmm.
None of us played the game, really. And the project leads. So I went kind of back and forth between them. And I do have a passion. It's just, it was so easy to get burnt out. I don't play Call of Duty anymore. Switched over to Destiny for the most part. So I do have a huge passion in games. I really, really do. I put my all into them. It's just different. I don't know how to describe the difference. It's not like you see Bungie employees where they are just wholeheartedly investing so much of themselves and they are so proud of the work. If you see them on social media, I mean, there is just, you can tell that they love it. Working at Activision, it's just, you didn't see that. You just, you didn't.
I got you.
But I stayed at Activision because I thought it was my ticket to Bungie.
Heard. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that it was.
Yeah, we've had several people in the community, you know, like get jobs at Bungie. So like, I understand that completely.
Yeah.
What is outside of dungeons? What are some of your favorite like activities to do in Destiny 2?
I've been really, really getting into just other end game activities, not just dungeons. I recently, actually, this past week, completed the last of the 6 master story missions for Witch Queen.
Oh, heck yeah.
For all bows. So I've done all of them solo with all bows. And that one was fun because I didn't have an overload mod. So thankfully, I didn't have to kill any of the overload champions to complete it.
Perfect.
But that was really fun. I want to do ultimately all of the hard end game content solo with all bows. It's kind of become almost a meme. Yeah, pretty much in my channel. It's people come in and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you don't have a bow. Is everything okay?"
Perfect.
Otherwise, I'll be totally honest. I just am so hooked on this solo challenge, you know, this end game PvE stuff. I don't really fully know what I enjoy in the game otherwise. I was asking people in stream a while ago, like, what do you guys enjoy in the game? Because I don't know what I enjoy.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm running strikes now, and it's fun going back to run strikes. I'm trying to farm out a Strident Whistle with Incandescence, which eludes me. But I'm having fun with that, just kind of going back to the basics. But it has felt like a chore for so long that I want that challenge. I want harder content. I want harder content. I want a harder game.
So have you gone for like this kind of flows into like some of the conversation? What have you done the Conqueror seal yet? Have you gilded Conqueror this season? Do you enjoy GM content?
That's a sticky situation.
Okay.
I have not gilded it this season. So I earned it seasons ago.
Right.
I have gilded it every season but last season. I'm going to gild it this season. I don't know why I'm holding off exactly. But last season was the first one that I decided to not guild it because I was trying to do solo. I wanted to solo Lightblade with all bows. And because I could at the time with the champion mods lined up for bows. And I couldn't, but I went right up until servers went down in Lightblade. I spent dozens of hours in that strike. I would love to do every single GM solo. Solo with all bows, no HUD.
Yeah.
Just obviously flawlessly.
In your natural element.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Just who I am, where I need to be. That's where I need to be. And it really upsets me this season because I can't do that. Right. Not just because Lightblade's not here, but because of the champions.
Yeah. Because the champion.
I'm having a hard time pride-wise.
Okay.
I believe the term is salty.
Okay.
Where I'm not doing them yet because I'm still angry that I don't have a bow champion mod. All right, there, I said it. I'm upset because I need to, for some of them, have an overload or an anti-barrier mod, and there aren't any. So I just have to get over my pride and do it. But I am planning on, for Arms Dealer, going to, with one of my good friends, go through and we're going to duo it.
Heck yeah.
She's going to be my anti-barrier.
And you're just gonna go ham on Bowen.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much.
Perfect. So this season I went through and almost gilded in a day. The GMs,
my goodness.
Yeah, they don't seem that difficult this season. It really feels like if you were wanting to try for Conqueror and hadn't either achieved it yet in previous seasons, or if you hadn't gilded it, this is kind of like the season to do it. Nem, have you played any of this? Or is the juice still not worth the squeeze for you? Because I know we've talked about this in previous seasons.
Yeah, no. To me, GM still, it's just not worth my time and effort.
Yeah. I gotcha. So when I know you had talked more about your aversion to different champions, Sami. Is it just like that the mechanic is a little stale for you, or?
I definitely have an agenda when I talk about champions. So I'll just put that out there. I hate them with a passion. Everything that I am, hate them. I will do activities specifically I will not do activities specifically because of the champions. And the biggest reason why is it restricts my loadout. And it doesn't have as much to do with the fact that I can't use bows. Okay, that's a huge reason. Yeah. But the fact that it completely restricts my loadout, I've actually gone through, and I love spreadsheets. Spreadsheets. And I've gone through every single season that champions have been a thing, every single weapon, every single artifact mod to see what you can use with what champions. And I mean, it's crazy. When I say restricts loadout, the reason I am so upset about GMs in general and about Lightblade is I knew that if by the end of the season I did not get it done, there is a very good chance I will never be able to do it the way champions are. Reason being that the only other season that there was an anti-barrier bow mod was season 9. So season 9 is when I could do anti-barrier, and season 16. And that's not just for bows. I mean, there's other ones where if you wanted to use, say, a seasonal exotic that comes out a certain season, you want to go through and just really, I don't know, you want to enjoy the weapons that you're getting that season. You are so limited in the content that you are moving up to. So you get to this end game content, the stuff that that you've built all season to get up to. And then these weapons that you've fallen in love with or that you've been using and ranking up, the ones that you've spent time crafting, putting your energy into, you can't use those then.
Right.
Because Bungie won't let you use them in a way because of those artifacts. I don't mind champions if I have a means to
like a
do
universal
damage to
mod
them.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the fact that Bungie is telling me what to use really, I mean, it bothers me on a very deep level.
That's something that we've talked about here on the podcast before. Just like that puzzle not maybe being as interesting as it once was, like at the outset of when champions came around, and maybe like changing them to something along the lines of like just primary energy heavy would be, you're still slightly restricting the loadout, but you're opening up what you can at least use in those slots for that loadout. Would something like that be more amenable, or like would that, or it's still too restrictive overall for your gameplay?
I mean, I don't think there is an easy way to solve the champion issue besides selfishly to just remove champions. But,
get rid of them, throw them out the window. That's it.
Some people say that it's a champion spawn is just a lazy thing that Bungie does. I don't think it's lazy. I just think that with where the game is at right now, there's not much you can do with the content we have to just change out champions.
Yeah.
I mean, the game is at a very, very interesting place right now, in my opinion.
Okay. How
where sure, they can add more content, but there's already so much in the game. This game has too much content, way too much content. And it's hard to tell. I mean, they keep adding content, and every year the enemies teleport a little bit more. The enemies teleport. Just a little bit more. It gets buggier. Oh gosh, all of the older dungeons are rough right now. I mean, they're easier. I can go through and, one phase the Ogre and Shattered Throne with my all bow loadout now. Used to take me three damage phases. But the harder part is the bugs. The bugs are what are going to get you. And I feel like if we're fighting bugs because there is too much in this game, versus, mechanics that make it more challenging, I'd rather take like the champions. But there is
like
a
bloat?
large quantity, but I think that it is hard for Bungie to keep up with the quality, especially with the seasonal model that we have. There's just too much content that is coming out and that is being brought into the game.
Right.
I don't know what they could do. I don't have I have no idea what they can do.
There was, so back earlier today, I was helping people with the duality dungeon and just had like a weird bug come out of nowhere where it just nuked two of us as soon as a bell was rung.
That's happened to me as well.
Yeah.
And so like, I feel
it's rough.
There's, especially like when I was doing, when I was attempting a solo for duality, I still haven't finished it yet, but just the amount of times that something, it had nothing to do with mechanic and all just like, oh, this just decided to happen. That was a frustration point for sure. Like I could see them attempting to remove, like add more stuff to the vault, but the community also wants everything to be around forever, right? So like how do you take those two different mindsets, or how do you take like there's too much and there's not enough of the past in there and like just smush them all together into one thing? I know other games have done it, but like it just seems like maybe this system and this this engine can't handle the same weight.
It would have to take like a
exactly.
radical change to like not just the sandbox, I think, but to like to the overall like game, because I mean that just sounds like something that is like you said, it's going to clash between the people who want DCV content in the game all the time and the people who are like pretty for, you know, removing things. And I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like this season has probably been like one of the buggier ones in like like a good while. I've encountered some crazy stuff in duality and whatnot. It's wild.
Bad.
Yeah, it's insane. And I don't know. I think what we're probably going to end up seeing is just like this. We're going to have this until final shape, and probably we'll just see like a crazy change, maybe from like the ground up. Because like how do you solve all that?
Yeah,
you know,
because they have talked about that as being the demarcation point, like on the horizon, right? We know as kind of like a Marvel phase calendar of like this is what's coming, and then this is what's coming, and this is what's coming.
Final shape is Endgame, and then it's, you know, what's next.
Then we have a multiverse suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's when we can play as the Fallen.
Yeah, that's the thing that solves all the bugs.
One thing I believe, like, so I fought this. My husband and one of my clanmates for the longest time were saying, you know, there is nothing that Bungie can do with Destiny 2 at this point to revamp it to where it needs to be. It needs to be a Destiny 3, which we know we're not getting. They've said that.
Right.
And I fought that for the longest time. The longest time I fought tooth and nail against that idea.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, there are so many things, the basics, the economies in this game, the different ways that we build. It's too jumbled. Right now, there is just too much. They need to just tear it down. They need a Destiny 3. And I hate to say that. I don't think this game is beyond fixing.
Like, yeah. I can't imagine Destiny 2 keeping on after final shape with like, just if you think on inventory alone on the amount of people that play this game, like I can't imagine it could hold up. There's entirely too much. Even with the DCV, like when, you know, if they decide to rotate things in and out, I just feel like there has to be a completely separate platform for Destiny. Especially since more recently there was one of their career postings was for a narrative to you know, lead Destiny for the next decade,
years to come.
Hello?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, we covered it with we covered it a couple weeks back when we had AK on, and yeah, that's kind of a crazy thing to think about. It's like, okay, this is a franchise that they believe has legs that can run for decades, which is like
honestly like the only way that my monkey brain can probably see that happening is if it's an entire, like, not Destiny 3 per se, but like if it's just a new platform of Destiny that's built around more of an MMO game,
kind of like what Final Fantasy 14 does.
Yes,
a little bit, where you have the game, but it's like you have to enter into the platform on the console or platform that you're playing on, and then you've entered into the game. Like you have everything there. So it's not necessarily all. I don't believe it's necessarily all on your device. but it's
No.
it's
No.
just a gate that
okay.
you cross. It's a gate that you cross through in
Okay.
order to get to the content.
Yeah. Because honestly, like, I mean, if Final Fantasy 14 is the only other active game that I have seen in a similar sense to Bungie's live service
Mhm.
that they have managed to, I mean, maybe aside from WoW, but I think that's a total like separate like monster, but
Mm-hmm.
where
I was thinking that.
they're where like almost because Final Fantasy doesn't have like nowhere near as like many like content updates like Bungie has been posting with like the seasonal stuff.
Mhm.
But I mean, this game is not like new. This
Right.
game has been going for
Mhm.
quite a while. I want
Yeah.
to say what 2006? No, 2010.
I
It's
believe
when it
it's also
first
critically
released.
acclaimed. Is that it?
Yeah, it
Critically
released.
I believe
It
it's.
released.
Is it a
September
critically
30th.
acclaimed MMORPG?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, I think I've heard that
Maybe
from somebody somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel like there needs to be some sort of change in order for the game to progress past where we are now.
Yeah.
With
I think that Bungie's.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like Bungie is starting to move it more into an MMO feel, and I had this little bit of heartbreak.
Okay.
If this came to me like 2 weeks ago, and I had this little bit of heartbreak because I'm just like, I don't know where my future in Destiny is,
Mm-hmm.
because where Bungie seems to be taking it is not really my play style. So I know I'd have to adapt, but building it so that, you know, you build your class and you build if you're going to be support
Mhm.
or if you're going to do damage or you build your specific in the team. And they are making that so specific with what element you do, what subclass you do, with the wells, with the weapons. It's not as much. It seems like they're moving it away from a shooter looter into more of an MMO,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is a little bit different than what I want from a game. And that has nothing to do with Bungie, with Destiny. I mean, obviously it does, but I can't be angry with that because it's the direction where I feel like that's kind of where they started Destiny, where they wanted to go, the original one. And they're just, you know, it just took them like 7 years to get there. But
Nearly a decade.
nearly a decade to figure out what they wanted. But it makes me nervous because I want that shooter looter. I want to be able to do those challenges, but it's more of a social game.
Okay.
I feel like they are starting to move it more into a much more
game.
social aspect.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. So I'm more sad. I'm not angry because it's kind of been going that way. But at the same time, I'm sad because I don't know what that means.
For you personally?
For me, for my passion with it. Yeah, I just don't know. And that just kind of makes me sad. Breaks my heart a little.
So seeing what they've done with the first two like subclasses, and then seeing we'll move right into Solstice from here because this is kind of like a nice little dovetail in. Solstice like has an element to it that feels like a buddy of mine, Rev, was saying that it feels like we are testing Armor 3.0 with like being able to re-roll stats on armors and
that's
everything.
Interesting thought.
Yeah. Have either of you guys like engaged with Solstice like that deeply yet? I know, Sami, you said that you would have.
I have not.
Nothing with it.
I did the activity.
It was an activity.
I picked up my armor because I had to.
Yeah.
And then I went and ran strikes. So I will get to.
Yeah.
But I am excited to see about the armor.
It seems like
I haven't seen too many people talking about it on social media, though. I haven't. So I don't really know as much what to expect.
So going into the event, Nem, I don't know how much you've played of it or if you played any of it.
I played it once.
Yeah. Okay, you leaned in on the mic on that one. I heard that inside my eardrum.
Oh. I like peeked my head around the corner, looked at the EAZ. I'm like, oh, that's neat. That's a cool looking bonfire. That's all right. I'll catch you around, guys. It's I think it's just more burnout, right? Like, you should, like, it's the EAZ has been revamped a little bit, but like overall, it's just I'm largely comfortable with where like my armor is sitting at. So I don't really need to go out and grind activities to focus armor. Like I can do that with the Umbral system that's in like the little mod on my Ghost. I already have a viable option that I think takes a little less effort to focus my particular armor set, and like I'm not too like I don't care too, and this is completely subjective right now. I don't really care for the armor set or the glows this time around, so I'm not really kind of motivated to like go out and like fully upgrade them. So I'm just kind of sitting the Solstice largely out this time around, honestly.
The Titan Pompadour really had, I don't know, man. I don't know where we go from here. I don't. It just, do you hit it? Does the Titan smash a jukebox and it fixes itself? I don't know. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But so I engaged with it a little bit on Tuesday. Like, I just finished the quest. I got the armor and I re-rolled a couple of things. It seems okay. Like, it is an event. It is the EAZ, and it's probably that I am tired of going to the EAZ overall. And more like, it doesn't feel like it lifts that space up. It feels more watered down than the previous iterations of it as well.
Well, buildings are even like boarded up, and like you can't go inside some of the buildings anymore, right?
Oh, I didn't know. I just spent time going through, and like when the 7 minutes was done, I was like, all right, now where are all the chests? Wait, there's no chests? I can't.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that.
Yeah. It feels like a thing where it's like, go get your stuff and go. Like, you don't have to interact with this as deeply as maybe they did in past years, which is fine. Like, which is fine. I'm a fan of being able to play however you want to play, and especially the activities that you want to engage with. If EAZ isn't your thing, but it kind of feels a little aimless.
It does, yeah.
At least for the grind. I want to like it, but it's 7 minutes.
Yeah.
so I mean, like, however you want to spend your time.
And to be clear, chat, I don't hate it, but I've done it for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, I remember year one where it was the Redux missions.
Yeah.
Those were cool.
9 times, but
those were sick.
They were so fun because they were actually like challenging story mission. I mean,
like, they were challenging and they were like wacky because like you had like the servitors that like almost endlessly just like multiplied off budding, and it was like it actually
was fun to go back and replay these missions, not just because the campaign was still like, it wasn't that old at the time, so it's not.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. It had something more to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
More energy,
it had
maybe
depth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still in the camp that I believe the EAZ is massively underused.
I agree.
I
agree.
If we could do hide and seek, legit hide and seek anywhere, that should be the map for it.
Yeah.
That's it. Bungie,
like that map has potential for a lot of really cool activities outside of ball throwing and chess hunting.
$1 billion idea.
Yeah.
6-person game mode.
Yeah.
1 person is it, and 5 people have to go and hide.
Infection.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's go.
Continue.
Let's go.
That just hit me. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like we just need that from the EAZ.
We
Oh my
do.
God.
Oh, that would
Hold
be
up.
so fun.
Okay.
Oh my
Hold up.
gosh.
It's 5 guardians and a playable thrall.
Oh yes.
Kind of like classic Halo with like the flood and infection.
Oh, here's
Yeah.
oh my god. So okay, so you take
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Why would you say this? I want it now.
so you
Don't
take
do this to me.
so
I'm
you take the
sorry.
Golgoroth. Okay, so let's expand this out. So you have a thrall, right?
Okay.
Uh
Yep.
you have a exploder
Explodey
thrall. Exploder your
Okay.
wavelength. That when you find a guardian, you explode. That guardian becomes gets that kind of pulse off their head. They don't change into a thrall. They just become it.
Oh, like the Golgoroth
Yeah.
debuff?
Yeah. So you do that. Everybody's running around. Nobody knows nothing. You have to pick there's one random safe point, but it's only available every 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Print it.
Again, there's a lot of potential for that map.
You know what? We should just build this game.
Can we have a forge, please?
Yeah, we should just build this game and make $1 billion. Who's with me?
Yes.
I'm into it. But yeah, Solstice is an event. I think it feels like they're watering down a lot of the events lately to make them be more in line with that spirit of oh, this is just a thing that you can engage with if you want to. You don't have to at all. And moving that down the line. I don't know if it makes them any more interesting.
I don't know if this is, this is a topic that I keep coming back to recently, especially in the last month since playing D1. The community's talked about it as well. How easy the game is. Accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
I am all for accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I think that even if you have very little skill, even if you don't have enough time to put in to develop skill, whatever your play style is, I think that you should be able to play the game. But at the same time, everything is just so easy. Mm-hmm. Going back and playing D1, where it's, we were playing the Will of Crota Strike, which is the Disgraced in D2. The Disgraced, where you're going after Nagul's replacement. Navoda, yes. They opened up the entire room.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there, in D1, and it was so hard because the room was smaller, to talk with my teammates more. Mm-hmm. We were above level, and yet we kept dying because, it was just hard. Yeah. Every strike we did, what was it? Fallen Saber was so interesting. Specifically because there was no immune phase. Mm-hmm. They just put more ads in there. Yeah. It was so much harder, and there was no immune phase. You just had to deal with it and get by.
Is it accessibility that you're talking about, or is it just difficulty? Because
I think it goes hand in hand in this case.
Okay.
Because I feel like difficulty is watered down so that more people have the ability to access it and complete it, regardless of their skill level, so that people can get those same rewards. I think personally, adept Nightfall weapons or adept Trials weapons should not be accessible unless you go for them. Mm-hmm. And I will die on that hill. Like I said, I am all about making the game accessible. But when it comes to a game that's difficult, I feel like you should. I have a hard time saying you should earn those weapons.
Mm-hmm.
What if you can't earn those weapons? You should still have access to them. I mean, that's where it's.
Yeah.
You can't win.
There should be a carrot on the stick, and it should be worthwhile for the amount of time that you put into it. That feels more like a difficulty thing to me than it does necessarily an accessibility. Although,
but do you feel like they're,
go ahead,
I guess, watering down difficulty because of accessibility?
I feel like I don't feel like those two things necessarily are tied hand in hand.
You don't think so?
I feel like it is we keep creeping up. We keep getting more powerful, and the ads that we are facing are the same. Like when you were talking about champions earlier, I feel like that was an attempt to boost them up, to create also like a mini puzzle piece in there, almost like Pokemon elements in a certain way. But I really don't think that has. I don't think it's like an accessibility standpoint. Difficulty wise, I completely agree. I think that you should have to play the activities that you want loot from, and I feel like that loot should be a reward for making the effort. But I don't necessarily know if that's an accessibility problem in the way that most gaming definitions like have accessibility.
I think one of the biggest things when you look at both games overall is the difference in the sandbox. We were very limited in terms of what we could use in D1, and there's no mods or anything like that you can really kind of like make a proper build with, and in D2 you have all this customizability that you can do to your guardians, and you get really, really powerful. But like as Dan mentioned, we're still fighting those same basic ads.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like the power creep is it's getting up there again, and we're probably gonna hit another wall where we did with when Reckoning was around, where we got like a lot of things nerfed because we were just blasting through things.
I don't understand why. Okay, so like GMs, you are automatically set to contest mode. It's hard. So you select it, and it's like you're automatically below it, or like legendary campaign, Witch Queen, you're automatically below it. I don't understand why, if you go into a strike playlist, you can't just select hard and they're going to be harder.
Right.
That's one thing I don't understand, is why is it that I go into Shattered Throne and now at base power level, I was base power level last season, base power level the season before, each season, even though it's base power level, I have been able to faster and faster defeat Ogre, and it has nothing to do with my skill getting better. I'm doing the same exact thing. It's just, it's taking more and more damage from what I'm doing. I don't understand why they can't just up the damage. I don't understand that.
Yeah, if they can't scale it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly do not understand that.
Like the legendary campaign, well, we keep going back to this like episode over episode, but like the legendary campaign is phenomenal, and
yes,
it's amazing.
It feels like it was something that was thought of specifically for that thing. I want them to do that for the rest. Do I want them to invest that time in doing that if they're going to move it out into the DCV though? I don't know.
That's a good point.
Like I would rather them focus and be like, yeah, legendary from this line forward, you got it. I don't know if it necessarily everything needs to have it.
Go back. Yep.
Yeah, backdated. It's like Aura used to say, I wanted to smack me around a little bit, and the legendary campaign did.
And you know what? Like it did so without champions.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm sorry. I get so excited when people say that. Exactly.
So
I need to do it one more time. Exactly.
Can we get that clean?
They're capable of providing a really fun, challenging experience without limiting your loadout.
Yeah. I think
it was so amazing to get through the entire master campaign solo. To be able to do that, regardless of the champions, because it was hard. It was hard. And it felt so good to be able to do that. That's what I want. And if they could do that with strikes, if they could do that to the basics that we have to do,
right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or like
Scale
Halo Skulls.
Yeah.
Or the Nightfall cards from year 1. I wish we had those back.
I kind of dig those.
I loved those so much.
Because you got to choose your difficulty, and like I don't know how many people engaged with that. Maybe there's a reason why it's not here anymore. But yeah.
But we're a different player base than we were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe bring some of that stuff back.
There's a lot more esoterics out there in the world. It feels like.
Yeah.
Sami, you being counted among them. Let's see. So we do have a few things here. We do have a showcase coming up on August 23rd for the next season. Well, I mean, August 23rd is the first day of the next season. There's a reason probably why they're not telling us anything about it, because it ties into this showcase that they're wanting to do. We saw this.
You think so?
I think so. We saw this with Witch Queen, right? Like, we had no idea what was going on with the season leading into Witch Queen until the day, right?
But this isn't the season leading into to the next expansion.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll find something out. But it seems like
I'm
the
really
witness
confused
is up to no good.
why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, prior to Witch Queen, they did their announcement like relatively early, and then the expansion got pulled back. So I'm assuming they're probably gonna start revealing what Lightfall might be about, and some of like the other changes that they might be making towards the overall sandbox of the game.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think we might see out of that showcase.
And former guest Bonafide Hero in chat did bring up the point. They did it last season too, not an expansion start. That's okay, fine. Fine, okay. I'll cede the point. But it is curious. I almost wonder if they don't do another optional season.
What do you mean?
Like extending just the last season or what?
Yeah, kind of like what the 30th anniversary did.
I loved the 6-month season. I felt like I could do anything. I felt the most free I felt in this game was the 6-month season.
Yeah, because you could like power level the crap.
I could do what I wanted. I mean, it just felt good.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I'm excited to see what it is. Of course, this dropped on Thursday when I was on vacation.
No! Oh my gosh!
It's like, of course. All right, cool, neat. Now I have to live with this information in my head, and I'm gonna go on this hike. Cool and neat. The hike was really good, though. Just letting you guys know.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was really cool. Asheville, North Carolina, kids. Asheville, North Carolina. Good food.
I'd love to go to North Carolina.
There's
so much.
There's a place called Biscuit Head. I highly recommend.
What?
Highly recommend. Shout out to Biscuit Head. You know who you are. We also have some updates For Banshee, coming up in season 18, completing daily gunsmith bounties will now grant 50 gunsmith reputation each, up from 25 for a total of 200 gunsmith reputation each day. Because of that, you're going to want to make sure and drop on by to give the old Exo your hellos when hanging out in the tower. Secondly, and more impactfully for players, gunsmith reputation gained from dismantling legendary or exotic weapons and armor will be increased to 5 each, up from 3. This will offer a considerable boost to the rate at which gunsmith reputation can be earned. And I want to say that there's another change. Maybe there's not. Maybe I'll just keep my mouth shut.
I've got a question.
Dan?
Yeah. Yes.
And there's a good chance I completely am blind on this because, anyways, what is the point of updating the gunsmith? What do we really kind of get out of it?
I mean, you could get random drops from him.
Yeah, but
that's it, Sammy. That's all.
We don't get we don't focus anything with him, right? I mean, we can't even see what the world drop pool is, right?
Well,
I feel like I'm just missing something for how big of a deal this is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be my intelligence right now.
Frank in the chat, feeding the materials economy is pretty much it. It's basically just it's a cryptocurrency scheme that he set up in the tower, and we're all feeding into it without really knowing too much why. I do believe you can see the world loot pool based on what he's able to sell.
But then you have to like add it all up in one of my spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm. And then you got to get an accountant.
Preview it, yeah.
Yeah, you got to see the whole thing. It's tragedy. Nem, thoughts? Are you a crypto bro? He's out of the building. Okay. Outside of that, we had... I'm taking a look here at my notes. But a bunch of cool stuff toward the end there. We do have a new... so there will be a community vote for the Trials card for July 25th for Eternity, Widow's Court, or Rusted Lands. And if you take part in that vote, or if it hits 77,000 votes within 48 hours of the vote going live, a special reward will unlock via Bungie Rewards. The emblem can be redeemed whether or not you receive our marketing emails. So if we get 77,000 votes, which I don't see how that wouldn't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, yep. You get this sweet looking emblem that you don't have to engage in trials at all. You can just vote and then hear people talk about it on Twitter for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's pretty much it for the news this week. Are there any questions from chat for SamiKat or the panel? Dropped some money recently on different controllers to try and improve, but I'm never going to be an ace player, and I've had to come to terms with that. I think one of the major things that when it comes to like player improvement, I found that like looking at players who play a little bit better than I am, such as SamiKat here, or maybe a Nem plays. Like Nem plays a little bit better than I do.
See any other weapon?
That's a lie.
I can't use any other weapon. But thank you.
But watching players of a different level, I feel like does help me out, because it's like, oh, I didn't know you could stand on that ball. Oh, I didn't know that like that you could slide under certain like attacks and then come up with it, you know. New Bold One asks a question for Sami. What led you to start your bow odyssey?
Oh gosh. I would say Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that's a solid start.
That's probably where it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Z targeting, I swear though. I have always loved bows in different games. Just absolutely loved them. A totally different play style. And Skyrim's absolutely one of my favorite games. 100%. Probably is my favorite game. And I am always, that sneaky stealth archer, wood elf.
Rogue.
I mean, just bows all over. Hundreds of hours of bows. And when I found out they were coming to Destiny in Forsaken, I was just like, well, that's really dumb. Who bring a bow to a gunfight? It's not going to work. And then Petra gave me my first bow, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have this special connection with her now.
Yeah.
Probably more my-sided than hers, but then I found Subtle Calamity, and I just couldn't put it down. I just wanted to use it all the time. And then people kept saying, well, people would, I would do different activities. I would do a raid. I would do a nightfall, things like that. And people would get upset with me for using a bow. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll use 2 bows as soon as Leviathan's Breath came out. And I'm like, if you're going to tell me what to use, or gosh, what is it? You need to use Izanagi's Burden. You need to use Izanagi's Burden. Well, if I'm actually going to do any damage to this, Dory Harpy and Garden, I have to hit it.
Yeah.
I can't do that with Izanagi's Burden. So the
Equips a third bow.
Equips a third bow. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I got much better because I was doing the harder content with more bows out of spite and love. So can I shoot a sniper? No, I can't shoot a sniper. Will I do damage to Dory with Izanagi? Never. But give me Leviathan's Breath and I will complete that raid.
That's incredible.
Amazing. What
fight will get you far.
I feel the same way about glaives now. It used to be bows for me. Now it's like, what can I get away with by using a glaive? And it turns out it's a lot. You can do a lot with a glaive, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
The lunge.
I haven't played with them too much, but you don't have to worry about ammo on some of it.
No. Yeah, you just get to stabbing. Enemies don't know what to do half the time. Like it does this weird lock to them occasionally.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. The lunge with the glaive, nothing else tracks. You just kind of become this secret seeker missile that just finds a thing, attacks it, and then you keep glaving. You glaive for days.
Was there a seasonal artifact mod last season where you'd go invisible if you meleeed?
There was a mod that you would go invisible if you defeated an enemy with any void, right?
Oh. Okay.
And so that still exists.
That's goofy.
But last season it was insane. Just the amount of utility that you could get away with, just having that glaive and just go, bloom. Well, I'm invisible now, and you just go up and you just start stabbing.
See ya.
You just start stabbing. You keep stabbing. Reminds me a lot of middle school. Let's see. The next question is from Mr. Kellyan. Are you playing any games besides Destiny 2 to change it up a little bit? Sami, let's start with you.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not really playing other games. Wait, repeat the question.
Is there anything that you're playing to kind of break up the monotony of Destiny 2 necessarily? Because it seems like collectively, Nem, you were talking about this a little bit earlier, right? Where it feels like we're in a cycle as a community, as I think in the seasonal model of the game, we're in that part of the season where it's like, and nah. And so occasionally, do you use anything to break it up, or do you just plug on with whatever you're going for?
I'm playing Destiny 1.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a different game.
and Netflix, does that count?
Yeah,
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things?
Yeah, no. It's kind of a game, but I haven't really, no.
I got one.
Now I'm
got
trying to
one.
think.
So
What?
I've been playing. There's two, and so Elden Ring was one, and Elden Ring is real fun because I feel like it feels like Dungeons and Dragons without really paying attention to any of the numbers, if that makes sense. like you can feed stuff in, but you can also just be like a crazy mad wizard, and it's real fun. There was that, and then there was Dwarf Romantic, which is
Oh my gosh, you play that?
yes, I play that.
I'm sorry, I got really
It's
excited.
amazing. It's a
It's
great
one
game.
of my favorite games. It's amazing.
It's an amazing game. For those of you at home
I'm
who
sorry.
don't know what it is,
got so excited there.
it is a Settlers of Catan like where you get these little hexagonal little pads, and they each have like trees or water or a train or a town, and you place them down, and then you get a next one, and you fit them all together, and it kind of builds out a little bit like The Sims, but you get the more things that connect together, the more tiles you get, and the bigger your map gets, and
and it's
you can
amazing.
It's Bob Ross, but in a game. It's amazing. It is.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's
Music,
a gorgeous
art.
game.
I had to stop playing that game because I would spend 12 hours straight doing it. I get very addicted, so I watch what games I play.
Yeah.
I had to stop playing that. I can't believe you play it. No one else knows about that.
Yeah.
That's like so exciting to me.
I play it as part of my cozy game. Like It's a very cozy game. It is something that is nice after, like, if you don't know what to do in Destiny anymore, especially at the end of stream.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of stream, you can just be like, yeah, I don't know what to do. So happy little trees. And then you lose half your audience. But the people that are there, they know what's up.
Oh, they totally know what's up.
Yeah, they definitely do. It's very relaxing, very lo-fi beats kind of game. Nem, what about you? What are you playing lately?
I have been playing the critically acclaimed MMO, Final Fantasy 14.
Mm-hmm. Critically acclaimed, huh?
Critically acclaimed. Say
I've
that
heard that.
5 times real fast. Now, I've been playing a lot of that. I actually got really sucked into it. I think I've been playing for maybe like a month and a half, and kind of blazing my way through the completely absurd amount of content that this game has.
There's a lot of content in there.
There's so much, Dan.
You
But there's
content?
there's a lot that feels there's a lot that feels like rewarding. You know, it definitely kind of like respects your time in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Playing a lot of that. Started another playthrough of Elden Ring recently because I can't get enough of that game.
Yeah.
500 hours later.
Solid game.
Makes sense.
It's so good. Little Dead by Daylight. That's kind of it. I recently played I tried Forza, which was really fun. But yeah, that's kind of where I've been lately.
Question from Gray Fox 2K30, King of Questions. Any tips for do you have any tips for bow users, Sami?
Oh gosh.
Aim
Biggest
for the
tip,
head?
and I know aim for the head. Yes, do that. Biggest tip that I have, and it's going to be very annoying, is play with different bows to find out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
All bows shoot different depending on, and they will. You may want bows for different situations. I have a bow specifically as a support bow. I have 3 different kinetics I use depending on the situation I'm in. I have 6 different energies that I'll switch between depending on the situation I'm in. Specific arrows that I use, very specific perks that I use. I mean, it is so different, each and every one. You may think, oh, I want to get one that has incredible draw time. Not everyone's going to be good with draw time. You may want stability. I prefer stability over draw time for my masterworks. depending on what bow it is. Some perks will not work very well with some different bow strings, with the different tension, with the accuracy. You don't always want draw time and accuracy. Maybe for PvP, but think about the flinch. So my biggest tip is get a bunch of different bows. Even if you think it's going to be absolute crap, play with it. Use it. Different situations. You might find something like an arrowhead that on light GG is very, very low in the column, but it works for you. The thing is that you have to hit something to do the damage. If you don't hit it, you're not going to do the damage.
Exactly. That Destiny does a really good job of differentiating feel across like the same weapon type. And that, like what you said, just made a ton of sense to me, at least. Because like, yeah, you're gonna find something that fits into your play style and works really well. Let's see here. We have a couple more questions. Question for Sami. Since D1 doesn't have bows, what have you been coping with? This comes from Lovely-esque.
Whatever is my next highest light level. I'm still on the light level grind. I like auto rifles quite a bit. The recoil is ridiculous in that game.
Yeah. Oh, I had one back in the day. I forget what it was called, but it was
I like the autos.
It was green and blue, and
is it a shotgun?
No, it was an auto rifle. It was green and blue, and I remember it felt like a laser beam, dude. It just like I could take it into anything and just be fine. It was a little bit of a hose, but it had like enough impact to it. God, now I'm gonna have to look up that weapon. Talk amongst yourselves.
I got the green and blue shotgun, and I'm really enjoying it. I was told that the auto rifle I really like looks like Lord of Wolves, and that just kind of ruined it for me a little bit.
Was it, Dan? Was it the antipodal hindsight?
I think so. That sounds. I'm looking. Yes, it was antipodal hindsight. I used to call it stable babe. Because it was just
that's beautiful.
Yeah, you could just sit there and it was great. You could barely even move. It's phenomenal. I love that thing.
Was that Sunset?
I don't know. I want to say that it came around in King's Fall.
Taken King, yeah, it was most definitely Sunset.
Oh, I can't. Oh wait, it was.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got your hopes up. I want to say there's another one in there that looks more like an Amalon kind of body, but I could be very, very wrong. I want to say that it was a Vanguard one. Oh shit. Well,
there's a blue one I've been using that's just like, it's like Hung Jury. Exactly, just blue.
Gotcha.
I'm like, oh, that looks familiar.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to find. When I find the name of the auto rifle that I used after for Stable Babe 2, I'll let you know. That way,
he'll tweet it out.
I'll tweet it at you because it was great. It was almost as good as Stable Babe 1, but it made do with
Stable Babe. I love it.
Stable Babe's great, man. Let's see here. We have a question from Underlinked. I'm always going to have a love for Destiny 2, but I have become accustomed over the years to playing it in phases. And when there's this season and that season, this DLC and that DLC no longer in the game, but some are in the game for various purposes. It's like, what big tangled web of content? How do I make sense of the current content? I would say play whatever the latest DLC is. Like, play the story campaign and then go from there. That would be my thing. Because it almost feels like, if you haven't been playing for a while, it almost feels like a new light experience. if you're coming in fresh to a DLC. Thoughts?
I don't know, man. That's I get it. I get where they're coming from, because like even for like some of my other characters that I never caught up with, like the seasonal stories and stuff like that, when I log into them, I have like for my hunter, for example, still has the go talk to Zur over in eternity, because I never did the 30th anniversary stuff with him, so I didn't do the stuff with Keitel when it was like Crow's thing. So it's kind of everywhere. Yeah, I don't know.
There's so much. I wish you could deactivate some of them.
Yes, that'd be great.
Like, I don't need pinnacles anymore.
Yeah,
I'm at 1570. Can I just deactivate the challenges?
Can I turn off blues?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, the Destiny will.
I've run into the blue problem in D1. I thought it wasn't a problem until D2, but now there are just blues everywhere, and I'm like, I can't escape it. Bungie just wants me to have blues.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Stressful.
There's another question here that got DM'd to me.
Okay.
By Neo's the One.
Okay.
He says, I have a question. What have you guys done in D1 or in D2 that you feel the most accomplished in?
Sami, why don't we start with you on that one?
Oh gosh, I need a moment.
Okay. Nem, what about you?
In D1, well, I mean, I've told this story in the podcast before, but like one of my more memorable memories in D1 is when I first started streaming with Planet Destiny. Before like I was even part of the podcast, I was taking viewers through Crota's End because it was before the update. So we were like running it normal, just trying to get people refreshed on like the base mechanics of the raid and whatnot, and we were all doing it like fantastically. And by the time that we finished the raid, turns out we had all done it flawlessly, and 3 of those Guardians in the fire team, it was the last trophy that they needed for their platinum.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it was really neat. Like that's probably like the one story that has always stuck in my head, when like all 3 of them like went in chat. They were like, that was my flawless for my plat. So yeah, that's probably like the most memorable and accomplished one that I have of the games.
So one of mine, I think probably the most highly regarded of my accomplishments in the game was helping my friend Drafty's son Steve through
Steve, no!
Yeah, through the Leviathan raid. There were many memes that came out of that. It was a very sweet experience to help him through it. It was 6 hours. it was like 6 hours of being like, all right, okay, we're gonna do this. and then going through like really like trying to teach him how to do it.
How old was he?
At the time he was fairly young. I want to say it was like 11 or 12 at the time. And then but like I've seen a photo of him recently. That was in like 2018. Now he's like 16 and like taller than his dad. He's got like his shoes are like huge. Kid looks like a lanky Rick Schmitz. And and I don't know, like it was like a really sweet moment. It was like one of those moments that like I felt like I was doing the right thing in making content, like in that kind of helper category. The other thing that I'm most proud of is anytime I get Nem just to yell at me. Just anytime.
I mean, that's always a good time.
It's a pretty good time. I enjoy it.
Me too.
Yeah.
It makes great content.
It does. You could
we haven't done it in
TikTok.
a while.
We haven't yelled at each other in a while, and that's fine.
I know. That's not fine. That's kind of blasphemous.
You want to yell at each other after this?
I think we're good. I think we're due for a good yelling.
You want to get into like one of the rooms here and just yell at each other for a while?
If you equip a bow, yeah. I
Okay,
will.
let's do that.
Yeah, right.
Do you just
Okay.
hate me?
No,
All this
No.
bow
no,
talk?
not at all.
Are you
it's a
like,
personal
oh.
it's a personal attack
I-
on Dan, not you.
He's
Okay.
digging at me, not at you. Like, he's professional in that regard. He'll only dig at me
We'll
just because
fight.
we're friends. Yeah, there's
we'll
no
choose
fight here.
violence.
Yeah, it's fine because it's violence amongst friends. It's yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. What about you, Sam?
I would say there's probably two of them. Yes, they have to do with bows.
Nem,
Number
brace yourself.
one, yep, just brace. Number one would be my solo flawless prophecy. No, probably my solo prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went through, I did it without any spoilers. I had no idea what was going on, figured out all the mechanics myself. And I did it with all bows. And I don't know what prompted me to do it with all bows, but I went in and at one point I had like 40 some viewers. And this was weird for me. This was really strange because I would average around like 10, 12 at that time. And people would come in and everyone would say, you can't do it. And there were, and I know this for a fact, there were 4 people, and that includes me, that thought I could complete prophecy with all bows.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried. I don't know how many times I died. So many. But then I complete it with all bows. And people just, they were in disbelief. And I was in disbelief. I didn't think it could happen. And it did. And I was right. I was right. But not only that, I was the one that did it.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe it. It just felt so good. And then to do it solo flawless after that felt so good. It was incredible. It was just so good. And then the other one is I did a low man challenge with all bows. There were 3 of us. We did all the way through Vault of Glass.
Okay.
And we had all bows, so 9 bows. We went through and we completed Vault of Glass.
Hell yeah.
And that was really cool. That was my first and only low man. And can I give a shout out real quick?
Absolutely.
Antarctic Wildlife. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So skilled in so many ways. He does low man helps on his stream. One of the best teachers I've ever had in any type of end game. Fantastic streamer, player.
Hell yeah.
Huge inspiration. He's the one that did that with me. So I just was like, I need to give a shout out because that's a huge moment.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. I don't know why. Like, I remember like talking with him in passing in some Twitch stream. And I was like, that guy's a real nice guy. And so I need to make a note of that. Make a note of him. Outside of that, I think that's all the questions fit to print today. So we'll go ahead and wrap up here. Sami, thank you so much for joining us today and for being in this guest seat. I hope you're not as nervous as you were when you started.
Oh no, now I'm afraid I talk too much. So
no, that's the thing
not
about
at all. You're
podcasts.
good.
Yeah.
keep talking.
You're on
I
a
really
podcast.
appreciate it. I am so honored to be here. This is a huge, huge honor.
Oh man, we haven't
Thank you.
told you the real reason why you're here yet, so we'll just hold on to that until the end. Sami, where can people find you on the internet?
Twitch and Twitter. Twitch, it is SamiKat, SamiKat, just SamiKat. And then Twitter, it's SamiKat Plays. So, SamiKat and then plays afterwards. Yeah. Those are the 2 places. I'm going to be branching out later sometime.
Hell yeah. Get those clips up on the TikTok. See that growth.
I know it's scary. TikTok scares me.
It shouldn't. Just turn off notifications. You're fine. That's what I've been doing on the internet lately.
Stop telling me how many people are viewing my profile. I have nothing.
I just send things out.
It's really crazy.
Just send it out into the void. Don't even want ask for the bottles to come back. Just send it out into the void. Let it do its work.
I have 56 clips to post. I just haven't posted any of them because it's scary.
You have a clip a day.
I don't know what to post first.
You have a clip a day for a month and a half. Just send one out. Just send one out. Just that first one, and then on down the line. Nem, where can people find you online?
Well, currently only on Twitch.
Only on Twitch.
Currently,
yeah.
or only on Twitch temporarily. I actually have a small announcement here for y'all. I am going to be taking a indefinite hiatus from the podcast. Not sure for how long, but I think over the course of being in the podcast for as long as we both have, feeling a little on the burnout, and with my job taking a lot of my time recently. I work in the food industry, so it's incredibly exhausting, and usually doesn't give me a whole lot of time for me outside of it. So, going to be taking a little time to myself. I'll definitely be around in chat in future episodes, just kind of watching from the sidelines, But yeah, it's been a blast. Also, TBL, you should have been here, and I'm gonna hold you to it now.
He woke up.
Unbelievable. This man, the one time I come around and this man's sleeping.
He wasn't feeling great. Cut him some slack.
He was sleeping.
He's here almost every episode.
I know.
Let the man have some rest. But
absolutely not. But anyways,
yeah. Nem, love you, buddy. Yeah. Just take care of yourself and rest up. I hope you become intrigued with the game again at some point down the line. But I completely understand like the burnout.
Yeah. I mean, it's just something that's been like brewing over the past couple of months, like or not months, but like maybe like years now. It's just falling into the seasonal like cycle of the game. Don't get me wrong, like I still play like the new stuff, but I drop off relatively fast. So my sense to talk about it is very, very low. So hoping with Lightfall coming up, maybe it'll kind of reignite that spark or whatever comes out afterwards. So we'll see.
Kondo spark some joy.
Yeah, man, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I feel you.
But it's been a solid ride.
Heck yeah. Well, love you, buddy.
Me too.
I'm glad I got to meet you.
Yeah.
Likewise. Hey, hi. How you doing?
Yeah, just
What's
stay in contact with one another. Even if like that's the thing about this content business. We all got to stay in contact with one another even when there's not content to be made.
Contact. Yeah. Exactly. I can't do it.
Man, that also reminds me of high school. I gotta. Anyways, hi, my name is Danfinity. I do PvE things on the internet. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. You can also find me on the TikTok and the Instagram under the same thing. I've been pretty chill lately. I went on a vacation, so I'm gonna soak that up, I think, for the rest of the week, and I think I'll have a slideshow to show you guys at some point.